All right, welcome to part 9, the continuation of Bubbling Brown Sugar after the opening and the craziness that went on. But before I go on, I want to give you just a little bit of treat. Bubbling brown sugar, if you feel you wanna jump and shout. Bubbling brown sugar, joy is what it's all about. Bubbling brown sugar. Okay, I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I don't remember those lyrics. That's been way too long ago. But I do want to tell you that the person who wrote that lovely title song is Miss Emmy Kemp, pianist extraordinaire and lyricist. If you ever see her name, go check her out. She's wonderful and she's still got it going on. All right, now let's get on to Bubbling Brown Sugar, okay? Keep watching. I decided to show a little tits today. People get all upset, honey, when you say the word tits. Honey, listen, you came out of your mama's womb, and afterwards you was sucking on them for months. Some people, I'm sure, it was for years. So I said it, tits. That's what they are, titties. All right, now we done opened on Broadway, and things were starting to come in, and I was very happy about that. A lot of publicity. I was tired a lot of the times. But Fashion Fear, the makeup company, they got in touch with the management of Bubbling Brown Sugar and wanted to set up an appointment with me. So I went to this meeting, the appointment, and they asked me would I be interested in representing Fashion Fear for some of their ads. And of course, I jumped at the opportunity. So we finalized everything, and honey, they bombarded me. So many boxes of makeup. I gave a lot away to friends and everybody. I gave a lot away and kept a lot for myself. So now the ads started coming out and everything. I think, if I'm not mistaken, I could be mistaken on this, but I think Brown Sugar lipstick was named after Bubbling Brown Sugar. They dropped the brown in. I think it's called Brown Sugar. I mean, they dropped Bubbling. So I think it's called Brown Sugar, but I think that was named after the show, I think. All right, so now I'm not upset with these ladies. When I heard that they had done this, I'm not upset. Anyhow, a few of the ladies from the cast decided that they were going to call the office and talk with Irene Gandy, speak with Irene Gandy, who was the PR lady for the show. Now, we had several over a period of time, and at this particular time, she was the PR, in charge of PR. So she says to Irene, they say to Irene, you know, Vivian's not the only one who wears Fashion Fear in the show. Other people wear Fashion Fear, and we should be able to do some ads too. Now, Irene Irene said, when we were talking about it, actually not too long ago, she said she could hardly remember this, but she said at the time, you know, years ago, she said when they called up and they said this to her, she said to them, yeah, but Vivian's the only one that can sell the product. Click. And she hung up on them. So, you know, I saw her recently and I said, do you remember that? She said kind of vaguely, but Lord, that was so funny. So that was, but you know what? It is what it is. They were very talented ladies in the show. Some of them had featured parts. I ain't mad on them. You know, that's what they felt they needed to do. But also, there was something else that they did that I found out much later, but I'll talk about that in another video. Now, let's talk about costume malfunction. Sweet Georgia Brown costume, right? Halter top. And full skirt, you know, high-low. Well, you know, you tie a halter top. You can either make a bow in the back or just make a knot and let it drop. And I think I would make a knot and let it drop. I think that's what I did. Well, coming about the subway, I couldn't feel that pull when you wear a halter top or even a gown that has a halter top. There's a pull. Once you tie that knot, you can feel it. Honey, I didn't feel a thing. And now I'm coming about the subway, about to start this scene. And I'm thinking, oh God, oh God. I mean, I know I tied it. I know I tied it. Anyway, so I'm going through this scene. And yes, my mind should have been on that scene, but to tell you the truth, my mind was on that knot. Did I or didn't I not tie that halter top? And I don't think I did. I was so nervous. Well, now it's time for me to walk up the steps, the pigeon-toed walk up the steps. I walked up the steps, back to the audience. Everybody, hat comes on, zoop! Spread the word as I turn to take the cape off, zoop! And the flap went blop. There I was, buck naked from the waist up for the whole audience to see. They started clapping. Wah! I turned around immediately, and then there was the band looking at me, right on. And they're going, woo, girl, Kitty, look at the guy. I said, shut up, stop. I'm trying to tie this thing, pulled it up, and I'm trying to tie it and everything, and the band is going crazy. The audience is going crazy. Woo, Lordy. I finally got that doggone thing tied, made a good old knot, and then I turned back around, and of course the audience is just going crazy because they love this kind of thing. I don't know why audiences love mishaps, but they do. So finally, now I'm ready to start the song. Dun, 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 no gal maiden. The song finished, no more mishaps. But the audience was still going crazy almost all through that song. And then, oh yeah, and by the way, there was a performer named Howard Porter. He has long since been gone, God rest his soul. He said, when I was talking on the phone to him, I said, oh God, Howard, you are not going to believe what happened last night on that stage at Sweet Georgia Brown. He said, honey, I already know. All of New York done seen them titties of yours. Howard was crazy. He was crazy, 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 crazy. I do miss him though. Anyway, all right, another little malfunction. Okay, I would wear like black briefs, right? But you're supposed to take the black briefs off and put on the red briefs, dancing briefs for Sweet Georgia Brown. And many times I would forget to take them off and put on the red ones. And so Peter, the light man, he would call down the stage management. The stage management would give me a note. Would you please tell Vivian to not forget to put on her red dancing briefs? Because every time that skirt goes up, we can see the black against the red, and it doesn't really look good. Thank you, Peter, for that. I'll try and remember. And then another time, now this is a puzzle. I don't know how this happened. Either I had eaten too much and it gained a little weight and forgot to zip it up, but all I know is halfway through this number that we do, I think at the Savoy, dancing at the Savoy, or I forget the name of that scene. It was at the end of Act 1. My skirt came down, all the way down to my ankles. Of course, the audience went crazy again, and I'm running around. I couldn't hardly do the choreography, and I'm trying to pull up the skirt. Finally got it up and zipped it. I think what happened, I didn't zip the skirt. I think the button popped and it just fell down. I think I didn't zip the skirt. My dresser, she felt that someone did this on purpose because it didn't make sense. This had to do with the white tuxedo that I sang, that I wore for God Bless the Child. I'm on stage singing away, singing away, singing away, singing away. And after the show was over, she said, now, Vivian, you can look down. I can look down. Okay. What? She said, I didn't want to say anything. She said, because I knew that that would bother you probably during the whole song. Half of the hem of the jacket was out, and you could see all these frayed edges, these strings hanging. And I got to tell you, the reason why I think it would bother me more than maybe the average person is I'm a stickler for everything being in its place. Too much of a stickler at times, I think. So this was like, and she said that's why she didn't tell me. She said, because Vivian, I knew that you wouldn't be able to handle it. But she felt that somebody pulled the string. She said, because Vivian, I check your costumes all the time. So she said, so just as I'm putting you in this off stage, and I see this is nothing I can do about it. And that's why, I didn't say anything to you, but she felt that somebody had done it on purpose. But on a more serious note, I mean, there are things that I have done that I shouldn't have done. I mean, I guess at some point, um, the business had hardened me because I just was not used to that kind of intense jealousy, starting really with Don't Bother Me, I Can't Cope, and then, into Bubbling Brown Sugar. And I confided in Vanette opening night, at the party, and I said, why don't my fellow one of my fellow cast members like me? I don't understand it, because I've done nothing. We hang together, and then the reviews come out, and then they don't like me. And she said, well, Vivian, you have to understand, in theater, you may not have a lot of friends. She said, and your job is to become as great a performer as you possibly can. She said, that's your job, not to come here and make friends. So I understood it to a point, but it bothered me because I like to hang, I like to be sociable, and that's me. That's what I love to do. Anyhow, there was a situation where one of the Georgia Brown dancers got upset with Billy Wilson. I don't know for what reason. So he decided he's going to alter the choreography. And it became more and more altered every night until one point I fell backwards because he fell up against my leg and sent me railing backwards. And I would report this. I would tell, the stage management, and they would give him a note, and then he would stop, and then it would start up again. Well, this one night, he went up against my body so hard. He was going down in a second, falling to the floor in a second, but he fell right up against my legs, and it sent me, I tripped and basically fell. And I was furious. When I tell you I was furious, I was cussing and I was just carrying crazy. So I called a meeting and went to management and said, I refuse to do Sweet Georgia Brown as long as he's in that number. That's what I shouldn't have done. That was a no-no. And I said, and so Ashton Springer said, Vivian, we can't tell him not to do the number. If he wants to do the number, he can do the number. So I said, well, then I won't do the show over the weekend until you have a meeting with him and something can be done about this. So over this weekend, I was due to leave to go to the south of France to do something for Princess Grace and Prince Rainier in Monte Carlo, Monaco. And it was this big gala that I was going to be doing, and I was going with my band and everything. But when I got back, they had a meeting on me. And various members of the cast got up and accused me of having gotten rid of the first leading lady, and also the management they gave this dancer his pink slip, meaning he was going bye-bye. I didn't ask for that, but they said there were a lot of charges up against him, and so when I did what I did, they couldn't give the pink slip to him because it would look like I told them to do it, which I hadn't. I didn't want him to lose his job. So while I was away, that's when they gave him the pink slip. So this infuriated several of the members of the cast. And so they're accusing me of all these things that I just did not do. And Ashton said, it's unbelievable that you give her this kind of power, because she doesn't have that kind of power. She was not responsible for the leading lady getting fired. It was the leading lady's behavior that got her fired. She's not responsible for the dancer getting fired. It was his behavior on many fronts. But I think I could have handled things differently. I think a lot of what happened, I could have handled differently, but I was young and I just didn't understand this kind of intense jealousy. And like I say in the video that I do on jealousy, now when I see it coming, it's like in my head, I'm saying, take a pill, baby, get over it, because I'm going to sing the way I sing, I'm going to perform the way I perform, and that's the way it is. And I'm not changing anything to make you feel better. But there were things that I did that I was definitely, I'd become a bitch, for lack of a better word. And that's really not me, because I like people, I love talent. But I was being pushed in a corner, so to speak, and I fought back. And so it wasn't good. It wasn't good. But a lot of those same people, like I've said in earlier videos, I've seen since then, and we talk and become friends again. And it's just, we're all grown now and just different, just different. But anyway, I just wanted to share that little serious moment with you. We're going to keep on talking about bubbling. When I left the show to open up the show at the Pantages Theater in California, in Los Angeles. So thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, to like, to tell your friends, and I'll see you in part 10. Bye.